line. Check the radio, big crew is far from slow. The lights no longer yellow. Ready, steady, go. Crank it up. Oh, it's racing. 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 In love with the ride. Burning rubber smells real nice. Fuel it up once or twice. Come on, fast is the way to drive. Crowds all on their feet. Not one bothered by the heat. Imagine them in the driver's seat. Checkered flag would be sweet. Crank it up. Oh, it's racing. 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 Everybody get ready. On your feet. Here we go. 3, 2, 1. Crank it up. Crank it up. Oh, it's racing. 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 Crank it up. Finger to the sky and a green light shining bright. The only thing I have in mind is the finish line.
Alright, well, ladies and gentlemen, back here live on P10 Racing TV with a high hopes and high regards. New Hampshire Motor Speedway here in Loudoun, New Hampshire is about to bring these drivers to a whole nother ball game and a whole nother level. 27 of the best coming to the show. Time to see which one remains on top. Hi, everyone. I am the Crusader Christian Driver. Joining you guys once again here on P10 Racing TV. Live here at the Magic Mile today. We are ready to reel it in and fire them off. And it's time to take a look at our starting lineup. On the pole, for Global Strategy Team Next Gen Cup Series, it'll be the 19 Howard on the outside, and 35 is Chad Coleman. Row number 2 is the 87 of Steve Ritter on the outside, and the number 6, Cameron DeRue. Row number 3 is the 7 of Scott Simley on the outside, and the 12 is Action Man Aaron Action Jackson. Row number 4 is Christoph Hall on the 44 on the outside, and the number 15, Joe Hudson. Row number 5, Dakota Graver on the 42 on the outside, and the number 93 is going to be Bud Shearer. Row number 6 is Maurice Burnett in the 8 the outside, and the 22, Alan Wild. Row number 7 is the 24, Cody Sturgill on the outside, and the 11, Ron Holyfield. Row number 8 is the 3, Keith Prince the outside, and the 95 is Sean Burke. Row number 9 is the 23, Charles Van Schaik the outside, and the 94, Justin Reynolds. Row number 10 is the 43, Samuel Rell the outside, and the number 53, Bill Hales. Row number 11 is going to be the 18 of Philip Schmitz the outside. It is going to be the number 39 of Kevin England. Row 12 is the 74 of Brian Wortman, the outside, in the number 10. It is going to be Ryan D. Cook. Row number 13 is the 89 Russell Ottaway, the outside, 96 Jerry Livingston. Richard Crane rounds out the field in the 36. The field is now engaging to the track. Time to let them loose here on P10 Racing TV. 181 laps of the distance today. This will be a long run format, long distance call. 50 laps for stage 1, lap 105 at stage 2, then let them go at it for 76 laps on stage 3. Tyler Dalton really been the favorite in terms of getting the fastest time, but not been the favorite and letting that last out the entire race. Would this be another showing of his spots here? Charles Van Schaik back in the back yet again, but remember, he's the only driver to go back-to-back so far this season. He's looking to continue that momentum and continue that run. Green flag is out here in Loudon. Flat bank, flat ends. This is not a track you're going to get the best of this one on. You're going to have to fight the track more than you're going to be racing it. Now there are a couple ways to work around this place. Again, you have a couple lines. You do have the bottom there, right where you see Tyler Dalton's at, but then you got where the line Coleman's at, which is kind of more towards the middle ground, the center point, like for a little bit more harder racing and a little bit more aero, less dependency in terms of the car and in terms of the speed you have to carry. But at the end of the day, you still have to get that aeroflow to travel right into that back spoiler and hope that it can get a little bit more run for later on. Pressure is on out of the gate. Joe Hudson currently right now dealing with the number 93, Bud Shearer. Shearer currently holding the RBS line up, trying to keep his hopes a little bit more intact here. Alan Wild in the big old 22 Ford Mustang camp looking on. Ooh, a little bit of trouble down there already though. Ryan D. Cook in the number 10 goes for a spin and a tail whip there in turn number 1. Trouble for the number 10 Ford Mustang of the Align Outdoors, Ryan D. Cook. To our P Team Race TV instant replay, we'll take a look at the replay here and see what exactly transpired here that caused this situation to pop up. Looks like Richard Crane got a little bit ahead of him, and Cook was trying to find a way to kind of cut around the corner. Instead, the car cut him out. Car didn't want nothing to do with it and sends him back to the shadow realm. Tough break there for the number 10. Unfortunately, nowhere to go in that angle. Throw it too low. Jerry Livingston able to avoid the trouble there, keep himself out of harm's way, but that's what you want to see out of any driver here today. Well, that's what will give us the time to talk about our Track Talk presented by JRC, Jack Racing Collectibles. So, island linked, flat in banking, and you would think by looking at it, it's like, hey, wait a minute, isn't this kind of similar to, you know, kind of a rectangle? It's not really a full-on oval like you normally would see. Well, you're kind of half right. The way this track is centered off, it's got more of a square, it's got more of a rounded edge in the turns, but a very sharp angled little corner in turn 1 and on the exits of turn 2 and 3 and 4. But something we need to note though is that that flat banking there allows for more run and control for what usually you would drive in terms of the non-fender / open wheel cars. So open wheel cars would be able to run this track like the back of their hand, because this is more designed and suited towards their liking, because they can allow the cars to actually breathe more through the corners and breathe through the turns, allowing them to gain massive speeds and massive traction on those long straights. For fender cars, well, let's just say you best be hoping you can find a way to deal with the burn and wear and tear of a car's tire, and then figure out how to kind of angle and hit the corners up as much as you can. It's not the easiest, and believe me, it's definitely one of the tougher things to deal with. Field of drivers right now going to get squared back up here. The Castrol number 6 Ford Mustang of Cameron D. River right now about to put it back on the 7500 number 19 of Tyler Dalton. Jack Coleman at 35. AutoZone Machine looking to try and wheel and deal it up again. So far this season, it's only been Dalton and Charles Van Schaik coming away with victories. Dalton getting his back at Daytona in the 500 there for their race. Charles Van Schaik winning the last two. Also, I do apologize in advance here if you guys are having a little bit of screen tearing or a little bit of frame rate issues. Not completely sure why we're getting them either, to be honest with you. With the green driving back out here, and Action Jackson decided to put a fight up on old Steve Ritter. In the 87 right now, trying to rid himself of all evil in the name of Aaron Action Jackson there. But Jackson playing to the sound of his own beat, to his own drum, and maybe shredding a few guitar notes. He's making sure Ritter hears him loud and clear. He's not giving him any room, and he's not going to give him any chances to breathe here. Uh-oh! I talked earlier about Charles Van Schaik. Well, looks like his back-to-back win streak could be in jeopardy. Troubles for the 23. As a SpongeBob scheme that Roush machine has been put into the grasslands of New Hampshire. Looks like New Hampshire right now getting the better of these drivers in terms of how they control their gaps and control their narratives. Take a look at this little battle here right now for turn number 1 and 2, and yet again another driver just getting a little too aggressive and off the corner and end up losing in the turn. Giles probably felt like he was all centered up and okay to run through that corner there, but unfortunately the car disagreed. Now, before he actually started downshifting down into that turn as well, before he lost control, that is going to get me into a little subject matter here, which you'll see a lot of today, which is some drivers obligating to using the shifter as a bit of a weapon, and the others maybe just starting not to. Now, we're probably wondering, okay, why are they shifting down in the turns? It's a short track. Shouldn't they not have to worry about that? Well, you kind of have, right? Even on the Gen 6 cars, they still had to do this, but a lot of drivers, what they've told me, what they do is that when the RPMs get a little too low, they have to kind of shift down to then increase the power, increase the speed, to then get the car to take a set, get a little bit more momentum, run it off the corner faster, and then get it down the straights and back in up higher gear to engage more speed and more control. More friction equals more power. More power from your engine creates more run. Big thanks to Sim 500 Esports Racing League and Alan Wild for sharing on this race tonight here. Thank you guys so much. Field eagerly and patiently waiting for our pace car to give the yellow lights flick off. They have indeed done it. We're getting ready to get back to the green. Still about 38 laps remaining when we go back green here, and again you can just see the pressure already setting in for some that are in the very back of the pack, some that are trying to stay up from the front. Ryan Wortman in the 74, laying low for a minute. Ryan D. Cook still dealing with mechanical problems down there. Phyllis Schmidt's also having some problems of his own on the track, so that will slow him up a little bit. That's Tyler Dalton, Cameron DeRue, Jack Coleman, and Steve Ritter. We're going to reel him off. I honestly don't know why I love saying that last name, Ritter. Steve, I don't know if you ever had anyone ever call your name like that, and I apologize in advance that if it's a little too much, but hey, man, I'm telling you, it's something. Great flight back on now. We're back underway here. Tyler Dalton will lead him down. Coleman and DeRue are going to go out of here a little bit off of turn number 2, and maybe more ways than one. They're a little bit of bumping and banging off of turn corner number 2. Cameron DeRue, Coleman having a little bit of an argument there, and it looked like DeRue wins that argument out. Coleman probably just backing off. He didn't want to get too much more into it. Drivers kind of leaning more towards the single file rows. Some trying to drive harder, some trying to get a little bit of push. Dakota Kramer, one of them here. But he opens up the door to the 22. And swings a little bit wider there. Again, you can go a little bit more wide here off the corners here, New Hampshire, but you can't be too careful. You get too wide, you get a little too out of shape, that car will not come back to you as well as you'd like it to. And you can hear again, there's that downshifting again. Again, drivers, they will do that. They have 5 gears in these cars. They have to downshift at times to get the car to actually set off. Oh, maybe not. There goes Kramer. We got a caution. No, maybe not. No caution, no caution, no. The only fans 42. Well, he got his account hacked, and then he got his car wrecked. No caution on the 42. We'll go to the P10 Race TV Instant Replay, though. Take a look at this one. Not sure if he did it to himself or if he had help. Take a look off the corner. Oh, it looks like he did it to himself there, yeah. One more look at it from the chopper cam here. We'll see if we can get a better glimpse of it. That was kind of a bad angle there. Right off turn number 4. Oh, yeah, that's all on him. Wild didn't even touch him. He came close, but never touched him. Kramer cannot be a happy camper, though. Back to that spot. Speaking of back in the spot he's in right now, Charles Van Schaik can't be too thrilled after all the mess he put himself in. Got it too aggressively there from turn number 2 and firing himself around. Bill Hales, the 53 MNH Construction, currently trying to hunt him down. Tyler Dalton already starting to run away here. It's stage number 1. Scott Sinley, the last couple of weeks, man, I tell you, they're the driver that was impressing me and really starting to make a name for himself. The Heidekin, number 7, he is that driver. And yeah, I'll tell you why here in just a second, but the thing is, Sinley, he's always been in that top 5. He's battling hard and he's running as hard as he can. He's always putting on a little bit of a battle and putting on a bit of a fight. And he has had many opportunities to get to the front, but this is honestly the first time we've actually seen him in his full-on season come out here and put a fight on everybody. If I'm the drivers right now, I'd be a little bit nervous and a little bit more weary about giving him too much room or too many angles here. Makes for an extremely difficult challenge when you face that challenge up ahead. Onboard camera here with a 94, Justin Reynolds right now. Reynolds currently trying to watch on the battle between Maurice Burnett and Russell Ottaway. Ottaway last couple of weeks Nothing but bad luck and misfortunes. If you kind of get what I mean there, he's been in the wall, he's been in rucks, he's been taken out. Las Vegas last week. That was pretty much kind of what it was all, pretty much put all and culminated into that same situation. Sean Burke, the 95 right now. I'm not too sure if he's just giving room up to Murray Burnett in the 3G8 machine Chevrolet Camaro, or maybe seeing like what we just saw there, maybe struggling. Rear differentials in these cars and a harder little control off in the back. The rear end liking to kick out itself, and the front of the nose almost kind of lifted off the ground. It's extremely difficult to figure out. Alan Wild into the inside to the grass. Backs out only to see a 3 wide situation pop up, and Sean Berg gives the old bump and tag on the old 8. He's probably not too thrilled about having to take that extra little bump and that little extra hit just to try to now have to corner it back off. Took a nice little charge there and took a good little run off it, but nevertheless he hangs on. And Maurice trying to get up there too. The Massage Envy. Number 43, Samuel Harrell. Samuel currently holding the field down a little bit in the mid-pack. Meanwhile, up front, Tyler Dalton just running away here in stage number 1. Yet to have been challenged. Cameron DeRue right now right behind him with Ryan D. Cook blocking his path. As the laps start to wind down more and more, again, then it becomes more of an officiated little fight out, a little bit of a tougher call to make, a little bit of a longer run off the edges here. Yeah, lap traffic definitely being a bit of a thorn right now for everybody involved, and that's not what they want to see or what they want to deal with. Pressure's starting to lean on. This is going to be more of a long run scenario here for these drivers, and they are well aware of that too. They can't give up too much, nor too soon. Russell Ottaway right now, he is our hard charger driver right now, the Sweetwater 89. And again, he's one of the only Toyota, actually he's the only Toyota driver we have on the call today. And the fact that he's 13 up right now, he started back at 25th, currently in the 12th spot. Maybe the Toyotas, like what we saw Christopher Bell in real life, have a little bit of an edge here. Maybe they have a little something to drive off with, maybe something to use. It's hard to say. Steve Ritter starting to escape for a little bit of the action. Jackson Cam, Aaron Jackson right now currently laying low right behind the number 10 of Ryan D. Cook. Lap traffic again. And Ryan right now, again, he's not going to get his laps back. He's 19 laps on his position. He's currently roughly about 8 laps down. Gonna take a bit of a miracle to help him out there, unfortunately, but that's just kind of how the nature of the beast plays sometimes. Slammed it into the wall earlier and cost himself a lot of time. We can take a look at the time. Let's take a look at our best lap times right now, and well, far and away right now, your fastest time is without a doubt Tyler Dalton. 30.84, fastest time set, absolutely guns blazing, and he was only challenged in time speed wise by a 30.95 for Cameron DeRue. And if you look right here on the lap counters here and how much time and gap gained, again, DeRue hasn't exactly given him any breathing room, on lap 25, but Dalton pretty much then said, all right, well, I'll just hit the loud pedal then. hence the term where we're at, where we're located on right now. Christoph Hall, the target Gillette 44 machine right now. We've seen him multiple times throughout the season, only to get kind of toe tapped and kind of thrown for a little bit of a ride or two. I asked him earlier today, you know, how did he feel entering into this equation, entering into this situation? He said point blank to me, if I could just simply just stop letting things and other drivers get to me, I will get everything situated out. And it won't be much harder to work around from there. Nevertheless, though, see a lot of guys still leaning in and leaning towards, just trying to figure it all out. Hall and Simley right now battling a little bit. The Heineken number 7 currently holding his end of the bargain up, trying to keep his speed up for grabs. Steve Ritter starting to escape a little bit more of Aaron Jackson as laps are winding down here in stage number 1. And Ryan D. Cook back there again. I know he's trying not to lose any more lap time, and I know he's trying to hang with these guys, but I mean, at this point, he's just gonna have to, in my opinion, just kind of race his line and hope for the best. But he's got to be very careful where he chooses his decisions to make a run, because again, everybody's braking points are different, everybody's lines are different. There's not a whole lot of folks that are going to be running the same line, the same situation, and then in turn that causes the dirty airflow that's proverbiated and generated by him as well as other drivers to have to then increase back on the back of the pack. And again, these cars, that's one of their biggest problems, that even though they have 670 horsepower package, the dirty airflow still can catch the better of them. Simley, it looks like he's done wasting time with that number 10. He'll move the chains up ahead of him. So good fielding of position here. Kevin England at 39, currently about a second and a half behind Keith Brentz here as Sean Burke falls a little bit further into the field. Marching up to the back of the pack end again, though. We take a look at Jerry Livingston in the 96 and Bill Hills the 53. Two guys last race that were in the top 10 argument, but again, just kind of found those strategies and everything else based and predicated around it a little bit too more difficult and a little too hard to figure out. Dalton Kramer, or Dakota Kramer, excuse me, getting himself right up ahead of the 96 Jerry Livingston. Ended up giving him some room, giving him some time to breathe, and that's one thing you just don't do around here. Running low on laps though. We are currently down to the final 14 or so laps. Tremendous speed and power again driven by these guys and used up on their equipment, but it just seems as though this is truly a long run battle. And again too, we haven't forgotten here, guys. This is still only the stage 1. There is plenty, and I mean plenty, of time left on the clock here. Jack Coleman and Cameron DeRue, the history between those two guys. Coleman especially, you know, here again, here's a guy that one season ago, literally like in the playoffs, almost like became kind of the Jamie McMurray of our sport. Literally just, he almost just completely came alive, stunned a lot of drivers and really kind of showed up out of nowhere. Kind of treating the way Tyler Dalton is right now, as well as what we've seen between him and the gold standard in the truck series, Aaron Smith. I still am kind of curious to know what would happen if we put Aaron Smith and Tyler Dalton in the same venue. What would happen between those two in these cars? Who would get the better of the other and who would get the better of the track? My money would be on Smith in the truck, so that's why I'm thinking like we put it between him and Dalton in the next gen Cup Series. I think we might have something here, boys. Be an interesting little fight out between those guys, I'll tell you that much. Meanwhile, speaking of a good fight out here up ahead, Scott Sidley back in charge here, and he's running it up quick to Aaron Jackson. Trying to find any little extra drive, any extra little speed here with the last winding down here. Again, the drivers know pressure will be on in this next stage because now they've already shown their hands a little bit. Now they're starting to show their little secrets and their little spots here. I expect a lot more aggressive racing in the final stage. Stage 1 and 2 almost to me kind of, I don't mean to try to be rude or anything, but it almost seems like with stage 1 and 2, this is almost like a tuning session, if you will. Like everybody's kind of, they get a little bit aggressive out of the gate. They battle hard off the start, but then it just kind of burrows in a little bit. It kind of lays off, and it's like, okay, well, we're kind of set in our position. We're kind of set in our spot, unless they know they have speed to kind of use up for later. They usually don't wait, and they usually don't really mess with it until like about stage number 2 or the end of that final stage. Well, you know what? It could be too this. They may have got a little too aggressive out of the gate, like Ryan D. Cook had done. Like what Charles Van Schaik there coming off down the back straightaway had done to himself. There is a time, there is a place, I know that, but I always kind of felt like once you start to get a little bit crossed up in between and you really start to drive a little harder, that's when you start figuring things out. Kevin England learned that the hard way. Charles Van Schaik nearly getting sent to the shadow round there because of England. But England, nice drive there, getting himself out of that predicament, but then had to open the door up for Crane and Kramer. Crane and Kramer right now looking to hunt down that number 39 here. Kramer, again, he's no slouch out here. We've seen him do massive racing in good positions here before, but I mean, he's up against a field of hard chargers and harder drivers that may be a little bit out of his skill level. And I'm not trying to be mean to him or anything, but this is not an easy competition anymore. This is not a subtle little battle out between just a couple of good old boys and good racers. These are true on-set sim racers, man. They are some of the tougher and the top tier level guys trying to make it up in the ranks. Piling them off down the final corners there. 4 laps remain. Tyler Dalton, your race leader. Side by side right now, here we go. Simley and Jackson getting a little bit tangled in there again. And again, we saw it earlier. Some guys will try to drive a little more aggressive, some won't. Hall and Hudson, they'll take over Simley's spot there. Simley looked like he was trying to make a run for it there off that back half there. Unfortunately, it didn't quite go the way he was hoping for. One more look at it. Just when you thought things were getting a little bit dull, well, the boys had to sharpen it up a little bit. Well, the good news is because that front spoiler slash differential didn't drag along the car there, at least it didn't end up setting into a tail bind to rip up the grass. One more lap here to end stage number 1. Now Coleman did make a bit of a jump back up to fight Dalton off here a little bit late than I think he was hoping for. But this is going to give him some much needed information and knowledge for later. Unfortunately for him, it'll be too little, too late. Stage number 1 goes to our Dalton. Whoa, a little bit of trouble back there too. Looks like you're on the back half there. Trying to get a number on that one. I think that might have been Joe Hudson. Yeah. See if there's any damage on the side there. Nope, no damage. So it looks like the car will be okay to continue on. Nevertheless, though, race fans, so far so good, but still plenty of racing to go here in Loudon. Alright, race fans here, double filed back in. Only our third caution entirely of the day, but 2 cautions came out there in stage number 1, so that was due in large part to the unfortunate circumstances there presented on the drivers. Let's see how they fare here with the pace car coming off right off of turn number 3. At 4, lining back down, set to the stage, green flag back up. Stage number 2 begins. Pressure on out of the gate there, Bud Shearer. Up on the outside line there with Cameron DeRue, kicking the inside corner panels there, right up the corners, every driver for themselves. Well, they knew going into this one, they knew it was going to be a little more tricky because now they had tuned up and they kind of set up, but as they figured out how to mix and match their car in as much as possible here. Again, I do apologize in advance for the clarity here at New Hampshire. Our camera angles aren't quite as good as they should be. Unfortunately, that's kind of on iRacing's end, not our end, so. Look at our gyro cam inside the cockpit here. Cameron DeRue, the number 6 currently holding up the mantle of the Fords. And by the way, all top 5 right now, all Fords. Only one Chevy literally right below them in 6th, that's Christoph Hall. The other Chevy is in the bottom half there, top 10 if you will. And that's Cody Sturgill. So already I got a very clairvoyant, complacent idea of what these drivers are facing up against in terms of the manufacturer, but also in terms of just overall control and speed. Brett Logan says, hello there, sir. Brett, it's great to hear from you there, sir. How you doing tonight, buddy? Alright, wild there, side by side here, trying to put the Commander to good shape. And the Commander going 3 deep, he's stuck in the middle. Bud Shearer trying to maneuver through, and it's Maurice Burnett getting the better of both of them. Burnett wasn't just getting high inside of the car, he was getting high inside the run. He got a lot of power and speed. He used up on everybody, and they didn't even have a chance to work with it. Pressure looms on though. As you can see now, the field's starting to single out once more. This turns into a tire run, into a fuel run. We're on lap 105 for our stage break. And Bud Shearer, man, I don't know what's going on with that 93, but this is definitely not what Shearer is used to, nor what I usually have kind of come to expect from his talent, his level of execution. That's not to say he can't figure out how to run the best with him on a flat track. He did that back in Phoenix. He's either doing 2 things right now. Either he's laying away and being patient, trying to see how the tire wear will be, or he is currently struggling and not really doing too well himself here. I'm not sure. Redlock says, doing wonderful. Thanks to your broadcast. How about yourself? Brent, appreciate you always keeping the love and keep the sport here on the show. I'm doing alright as well. Currently just battling a little bit of a throat burn here. No, I didn't get sick. I think I just ate something wrong, and currently it's just making giving my throat the old annoyance. So it's kind of why I'm a little bit off and on when I chat, or I say something, I kind of go one little big talk, and then I just kind of stop for a sec. Oh! And speaking of stop for a sec there, unfortunately Sean Burke, the RBS 95, wheeled it in and gave himself a little bit of troubles, got way too aggressive and suits the rear end completely out of him in turn number 4. The 95 losing more ground. He's 2 spots down from his original qualifying spot here in this race. Steve Ritter right now making a jump ahead there of Cameron DeRue from the started position, and the serve bolt, excuse me, has moved up further into the field, back in his actual qualifying spot. Deru though watching on. You can see where most drivers are trying to hit their spot on too. You can see a lot of them going right above the second line slash lane. That you can see some of them also kind of shooting towards the bottom of the lane. It's three completely different styles of racing here. Again, you got the very, very bottom, which most wouldn't even dare try, but it does shorten the track out and you can get a little bit of run there. Then you got the extreme middle crew, and then you got that outside flat end that kind of sends these guys in for a bit of a loop here. Meanwhile, back in the packet again, top 10 going out of here. Cody Sturgill and Joe Hudson having a little bit of a tussle here. The USAL number 15 going head to head here with the number 24 Taylor schemed up machine, the Chevrolet Camaro himself. Sturgill trying to engage a little bit closer, trying to get a little bit more on the nose there. Hudson defending him though. Notice that too, right there. You can see actually Sturgill, he's not going to shift in and out. He's actually just staying in fourth gear. Now again, he is running the RPMs up quite a bit there, so more time will tell if that's going to end up affecting the car in total or if it's going to give himself a little more trouble. Nevertheless, though, it seems as though it's at least hanging in there enough to where he doesn't have to deal with the pressure or that problem for now. But again, it's only a matter of time before you really start to get a good idea of it and get a bit of a notice on it. It's mainly been your battle right now for any position or any kind of run, because everybody else has been just kind of laying low and letting the tires set in. Except for maybe Aaron Jackson, Christoph Hall, and Scott Sibley. Hall has come closer and closer to the number 12 of Jackson. Was down about a half a second. Now it's only about 4/10 of a second. Scott Sibley trying to defend down the line off the runs and off the spots. Sibley looking on. And Cameron DeRue, actually a little bit of problems down there. Number 6, looks like he might have lost ground and traction there from turn number 2. Might have slapped the wall, couldn't quite tell up there. But he has lost a lot of time. And not only lost a lot of time, he just lost a lot of positions. 3 spots gained up from the 3 positions, but 3 lost down for Cameron DeRue. And Joe Hudson already immediately on the loud pedal, trying to make him just squeamish a little bit, maybe worried a little bit more about him. Pressure's on here. Aaron Jackson, Christoph Hall, and Scott Sibley, they are dead even with one another here. Virtually equal drivers, and you're equal in terms of the playing field, but, you know, looking at the overall iRating on them too, Scott Sibley's got them beat by about, well, roughly 1,100 in terms of Jackson, and quite a bit more on Christoph Hall, but you don't need iRating to do that, I can tell you that much. That's just raw aggression, to say the least. Christoph Hall opened the door up there to Scott Sibley, and he just flat banked him right in and fired all he got at him. Sibley, though, was not able to make the full pass. Sibley desperately trying to swing the inside, looking for anything he can. The Heineken number 7 over the 44 Gillette's Christoph Hall. Hall, though, despite being bump tagged and chewed up a little bit, Almost like Roddy Piper just spitting that gum right back into his face and not caring a little bit. But Simley and them are also opening the door up there for old D-Roo to come in back. Coming on back down on the line, on the back straightaway. D-Roo has got an opening. Oh, he's got more than an opening. He's got a corner and he's got a fender. Oh, and that is what we're a little bit worried about. There goes the two of them, and we've got a caution. Slight mistake there, unfortunately, fair for the 44 of Christoph Hall. Cameron DeRue really had nowhere to go, and a great shot there as it happened live on the call, but not the spot exactly that I would think the 44 wanted to see. What a tough break there for Christoph Hall. Let's take a look at the replay. Looked like he just overdrove it. You can see the rear end's already slipping. And DeRue, nowhere to go. Again, we saw earlier what happens when you get a little too eager to make that pass, make that run. Hall is not a happy camper, though. I guarantee you that much. Not exactly what he wanted to see, nor did he want to have happen. One more look at it. This is from his onboard camera angle. Watch the 6 going to kind of come creeping up. Gets a little bit loose, but DeRue really probably had no time to react. I mean, what was he going to do? He was kind of thinking he had an opening, and then all of a sudden Hall was spinning in front of him. He really had no choice. Although, will probably be seeing it differently. I know this because usually I am the very same person. So the field right now are going to be kind of throwing a little bit of a bone here and give a little bit of a chance to catch back up here. Definitely not, though, what these drivers were expecting, and certainly not what they were hoping on for some. Alright, fans, back on the call, back on the track here. We're about ready to set them back down to the action here. Green flag back underway. Well, once again, on to another strong start. Dalton still yet to have been challenged for the lead. Coleman, though, right there with him. Field right now, packs stacked, racked up, and trying to get back out of the packs. Last thing we want to do is have to go side by side too often than not here in this kind of playing field, this kind of level, and they know it too. Full field battling right now for supremacy and for position. Coleman right now braking a little bit sooner than Dalton. Dalton not as quick on the brakes as Coleman is. Dalton seems almost kind of a little bit more weary of getting too aggressive or too out of control early. Here comes the commander, number 22 as well, Alan Wild. He's scraped up, he's been bruised up a little bit, but he is not letting up on the number 8, Maurice Burnett, trying to hang on. And Aaron Jackson and Justin Reynolds right now doing a little bit of a tussle while they're at it. Every driver for themselves. It's Russell Ottaway. You want to talk about a hard charging little renegade little fight back from last week? I think you got to give the nod to that 89 of Ottaway here. Only toy under on the track. Only driver right now to get as far up as he is. And still pushing not only his limits, but everybody else's mental limits and physical limits. Man, Ottaway, man, look at the speed this guy is carrying on that outside. I know he's tearing his tire up a little bit doing that, but my word, folks. He just drives it in deep, says, if this thing sits, I'm good. If it doesn't sit, well, then oh well. He's got 18 spots up and made an extremely tough pass there on Justin Reynolds. And Reynolds, by the way, he's no slouch either. I believe last season he was really in the top 4 category in terms of the final of the playoffs. That's not somebody you sleep on or you just let off too easily. And yet he is just making him look like he was sitting still there. That is something. Massage envy number 43 of Samuel Rowe right now, trying to envy his line, his credit, to speed up as he's going out of here with Bill Hales. MNH Construction number 53 of Bill Hales right now, trying to keep him down. Oh, but has to back off just a little bit. Harrell saw it too. He lays it out. Andrew says, let's go number 89. Andrew, thanks for tuning on into the call today. Alan Wild and Justin Reynolds now, they get back at it a little bit. Russell has just moved more chains ahead of these guys, and he's trying to get to Aaron Jackson. Such a strong start, such a strong run, everybody mixing it in between. Reynolds still putting pressure on Harrell. Harrell right now desperately trying to get away from him, and you can just see too how close centered off they are in each turn, each corner. There's just no room for error. Wild and Hales right now, they are right down neck and neck with each other. The Wild man, though, is going to have to back off as the Commanders will not hold up to the Generals. The Soldiers are leading their fortress ahead, and they are regrouped. They're getting away from the Commander himself. But Shearer, one of them, as he parks it right up ahead, firing quickly back into the turns. Remember what I said earlier about Bud Shearer being struggling earlier on? I think his tire strategy was what was playing out. So it looks like I got to owe him an apology there. I did say, though, I thought honestly he was either trying to save something up or he was really struggling. He's not struggling now, obviously. There's his teammate, Justin Reynolds. Colors may not match, but the logos do. And they flare him right off. It is Shearer with one more spot up for him in his camp. Hales and Reynolds still going at it a little bit here. Every driver having their own little say in this battle. Samuel Harrell and Aaron Jackson going at it a little bit up ahead. Ottaway desperately trying to get another run going. Lost a lot of time there to Shearer. He was trying to get up to Jackson mainly, but it looked like he just got a little too aggressive and a little too overcrowded. And again, you can see the move coming up from the front. Kramer off track here. There might be some problems down the track there for him. Shearer having to back off. Looks like it might have lost a little bit of time there in turn number 2. That's the same turn earlier that bit Ryan D. Cook and Charles Van Schaik. Halfway done with this one, race fans, and this has been a tremendous showing by all involved, but there is still some room left on the table, and Tyler Dalton well aware of that. Although you really wouldn't think it, you'd think he's probably just getting a little too comfortable with himself. You gotta remember though, they gotta go back in for past the caution. They gotta get squared up here. Steve Ritter right now having a little bit of fun on Chad Cohen's behalf. Oh, wait a minute, down there in turn number 2, Bud Shearer has spun the car around there. Shearer is in the grassy plains. We just barely missed that. That was happening. Meanwhile, up ahead, here we go now, side by side for second. Coleman trying to use the wall as leverage, trying to use it for speed. Ritter, though, forcing his hand. Some great side-by-side battle here, and Scott Simley, look at the Heineken number 7. He's closing some gaps off, and he's making a charge for it. Stage 1 was a bit lackluster, if you ask me, in terms of the overall action, but this stage number 2, man, does that swapped up a little bit, and that's exactly what I said earlier. Stage 1's more like a tuning session. Stage 2's kind of getting it figured out. Stage 3, it's all about when and where to make your mark and make your move. Oh my, have we done that now? In a big way too. Samuel Harrell, look at the 43. He's also coming back into the pack. He was back there with Aaron Jackson a minute ago. Now he's making a run for the second spot. To do so, you first got to get around the 7 of Simley. Then you got to find a way around Ritter. Ritter right now trying to block him off. Very aggressive drive here from Harrell. Simley looking for another opening, trying to swing it by. Again, tire wear finally starting to do its work. Coleman thought he may have had a bit of an advantage there earlier, having to get away there from Ritter, but now it seems as though he forgot all about Harrell making any charges, and he's caught him on the outside. This time he'll bring it down the inside. Let's see if Coleman can hold the line and hold it true. As the old saying goes, you got to keep him honest. You got to keep him honest. Coleman's going to be honest, but it's going to be Harrell who keeps it real with a caution. Flying right out though. There's troubles down there. Aaron Jackson has come for a bit of a deadlock stop out. It looks like turn number 3 and 4. That will bring us back to P10 Race TV Instant Replay, and here is a caution issue and what brought it out. Oh, man. Took a good little hit there on that inside wall. That inside wall has had some work done too. Turn 2 and 1 have been a little bit used up, but that inside wall off of turn number 4 has been used up more today than I think both of them have been. One more look at it. Hits the slick spot and bam! Right into the nose. Car, thankfully, able to at least take the pressure of it. And the action rolling, kind of getting thrown down off the red carpet there for Aaron Jackson. That will I believe, bring us to the, might not quite be the end of stage number 2. We're ending at lap 105. Let's see how this plays out. Brent Logue says, in my opinion, should do away with a couple of heat races because you really don't have true pit road to fix the car that it needed to keep it competitive. Well, Brent, in some regards, I see where you're coming from, but I will make this argument right back at you too, which is, yes, the heats, they would allow the drivers to, kind of set more up for the A main and then have a little bit more of a time, but really, in my opinion, it only really works in dirt racing, because in dirt racing, it's a shorter field, shorter stack lineup, and we're trying to find the best of the best to go at it then and there on a shorter track, but also, you tear up a lot of equipment doing that, so that gives you time in between to kind of get situated, fixed up, and bring it back out to race. That makes sense. These asphalt ovals, though, they're bigger in scale, they're bigger in scope, and overall, you got to treat them more with respect. Like, asphalt is still no joke. I mean, I've always said before, I'll say again, I live and die by my roots on dirt. But I will not lie about the other side of the coin, which is asphalt racing being as tough as it is and tough as nails to figure out. So having heats, honestly, kind of, I don't want to say kind of demoralizes the idea of it, but it doesn't really add on to what you do in terms of the big scope of it. It does work for really small tracks. Like I said, the Clash, it works good to figure out who we're going to bring in there. But these big tracks, it's all about getting every single driver out on that track and racing it out against one another to see who was truly the best then and there. That's where the excitement comes from, and that's where the field and all that really strives to. And if you wreck yourself out, unfortunately, that's either your own fault, or you got trapped in a racing ordeal, or really you might have to have a talk with somebody in the trailers afterwards. So, again, that's just my 2 cents. You guys can feel free to argue about it in the comment section down below with me. I have no problems there. I believe we're going to have a couple laps here. We're going to have basically 5 laps remaining here in stage number 2, excuse me. And I just went off that little rant there, and now I have completely forgotten. I need to kind of remember what my broadcast job is, and I can't even remember what lap we were on, so that's my apologies, guys. Roll the bomb down around the corner here. Pace car coming off by. Stage number 2 about to end. Redlow kind of agreeing with my situation, but then saying it is fun to watch. Well, fair enough there, sir. Speaking of fun to watch, this is one the lawn drivers really don't want to watch too much of. 3 wide, and I'm off at turn number 2. They go in deep in turn 1. They try him in through turn number 2. And Action Jackson getting the heck out of that mess. Samuel Harrell, hold on to your horses, folks. We've got a battle here in Loudon. And Dalton right now looking on, knows what's coming behind him. Harrell is hunting him down. He's got a gap, and he's got the speed. Dalton looked like he had a good run earlier, but that final set of laps cost him dearly. Here comes the 43. Massage Envy Machine right now trying to enviously get himself ahead of that 19. He's trying to find an opening. Looking for the inside. Here he comes down off of turn number 4. Can he get the run? No. Dalton closed the gap. That air airport right now might be the only thing saving Dalton's end, because those tires are fried and they're burnt. Or else, not so much. Back on the outside. Try to cross him up. He almost crosses him into the wall, but there he goes down the back stretch. Here comes the 43. Deep in the corner. Harrell slide taps it onto Dalton. Side tapped it through the corner. Sets him past. We've got a new leader. Dalton cannot believe that caution came out when it did, and now he realizes what that 43 has got in store for him. And the Massage Envy machine now is going to look at the final stage as his peak point. But with 2 more laps to go, he still needs to finish the stage. What a complete 180 reversal, and you can see the fenders are put together and some regression levels may be obscenely upsided and maybe put more towards the risking. You can't win races if you don't take chances. Reynolds looking to do that right now, but Simley is not letting up. That's your battle right now in the top 5. Battle for 4th, but Shearer walking up from behind. And Shearer, he's not wasting time. He's going to dip it into the 3 wide tandem. Reynolds backs off, but he may have cost his teammates. Sibley jumps ahead, but off at corner number 4, stage number 2, belongs to Samuel Harrell. Wowee, race fans, what a move there. Samuel Harrell pulled on the old 19th Tyler Dalton. Samuel looking for that first win of the season. Dalton was looking to continue his stage point success, but Harrell had other plans. So with that now, race fans, we enter into our final stage. Time to bring you our little top ticker here. The live timing now sheet's going to be really good and put to good use here. What a start, what a performance there from stage number 2. Stage 1 again, a little bit bland, a little dull, picked up big time in stage 2, and now Dalton probably getting a little fired up now that Harrell just made that move. My question is, will that come back to haunt Harrell? We shall soon find out, folks. Here we are, ladies and gentlemen, your final stage now set to go here on Pizza Race TV. Drivers lined up, back in position. We're ready to fire them down the front straightaway. Here we go. Last chance to really make a name for yourself, make some moves. Hudson and Coleman immediately having a little bit of fun down there. Really sliding into one another here as the fenders get slightly closer together. Cameron DeRue, you're early later. For the first time today, the stage-wise anyway, Dalton will not be leading us off to the charge. That's Coleman, who was chaining him down earlier, making some big runs, some big moves. Coleman has made his way around the track and has made his way around the place here and got a good run off. Cody Sturgill slowing up Dalton a little bit thanks to that little issue off turn number 2. Remember, Sturgill and Harrell, they all went right ahead of Dalton off pit road there. And they have made every little move they can to really take control of this race. Some serious headway and maneuvering through the field, every driver for themselves so far. Red Lug says it's only in race where you can intentionally wreck somebody for position and not get penalized, sarcastically speaking. Well, it depends how you look at it these days there, my friend. Some great charging, some great battles back and forth here between these drivers here. Nobody giving an inch. Simply looking to deep it inside, dig in just a little bit more, once more on the time. Meanwhile, back of the pack, 3 wide off the corner. Richard Crane, Russell Ottaway, and Sean Burke getting a little bit entangled up there. Samuel Harrell leaning way back in the pack there, a lot longer than we were expecting to, and he's currently trying to get around Bill Hales. And that 53, although I have a feeling he's probably trying to save up fuel and trying to save a little more tire up for later. That would be my first guess anyway. Big jump right through the field here, and now back in position here. Everybody right now currently in a bit of a cluster. They have figured out what they needed to tune, what they needed to use. And now just hoping and praying for a little bit of a runoff or a little bit of a gain in the grounds. So much more going up here. Billow of smoke though. There's problems. Maurice Burnett and Sean Burke collapsing in turn number 4 onto the front straightaway. Sean Burke, unfortunately, looks like a victim of a little substantial little issue between him and Maurice Burnett. Let's take a look at the turn number 4. No, looks like Burnett really had nothing to do with it. Just unfortunately, just a victim of the cause. Burke gets jammed in there off of the front straightaway, man. Talk about taking a hit there. Oh my goodness. Oh my. One more look at it. Watch this hit that Burke takes, man. This is going to be a hard hit. You can see he shifted it in the wrong time, and it looked like the car just didn't grip off there. Yeah, that was a really nasty hit there. And again, there was no instant repairs on these drivers either, so they are running with what they've got. Damage definitely done up on the number 8 of Burnett. How much will that affect his overall pace and overall control? That will remain to be seen. 60 laps remaining, coming to the line here. 61 in total, I should say. Jack Coleman gonna have his hands full. Tyler Dalton looking for a little sweet piece of revenge and vengeance, if you will, from earlier on. Green flag back on out. Let's see what happens. Oh, Coleman just straight lined that thing right into the corner. He is not letting up that easily. There is one thing, honestly, that genuinely impressed me about New Hampshire is the fact that you can literally just make the car look on camera like you're literally just darting that thing in and then slamming the brakes, when in reality you're already on the brakes before you're even in the turn. But on my end, it looked like it literally just driving that thing straight in, almost like nosediving it completely off the handles and off the seams. 3 wide, just for barely a minute there between Hudson and Sturgill. Both guys are dialing back up a bit. Sturgill going side by side here. Trying to hold his racing line off with Simley on the inside. Simley back underneath, right to the corner. Looking for the runoff on the back stretch to the front stretch. Still no room, same as it can be. Dakota Kramer right now still leading in, trying to get the 8th spot turned into a 7th, 6th, and a 5th spot position if he all possibly can. But Tyler Dalton has already got ahead of Coleman and Ritter. We have a new leader. Tyler Dalton is back in the race lead. But again, how long will that last? Uh-oh, hold on. We got problems. Joe Hudson crashing it right in front of the field. Up the backstretch, 4 cars involved. Hudson spun out there in the turn. And I guarantee he's a little bit hot right now. He's trying to hurry into pit road. That's where he's going. I think also the officials may be trying to chill him out a little bit. Let's take a look at the replay. Here's what happened. Sturgill just barely catching the 15 off the corner. Bill Hale's backed off, trying to get out of there. Maurice Burnett trying to get out of that. Ron Holyfield, nowhere for him to go. Man, what a nasty hit for everybody involved. What a tough break as well. Not what you want to see from these guys, nor do you ever want to see that happen. But at the same time, you can never turn your head away when you see it happen. Oh, man. What's the hit on these things? Credit to iRacing where credit's due. They making sure that'll seem and sound realistic, not in terms of just the volume of the scope, but also literally how the hits come. Credit where credit is due. In terms of field miles wise right now, Dalton, Ritter, Coleman, Simley, Wild, Kramer, Crane, Prince, and Wortman seem to be of the same that are standing here. They think they may have enough. We'll have to see though. Well, race fans, yet again, we're going to get them lined back up, firing back down once more. We are nearing the 50 lap marker. With 50 laps to go here in New Hampshire, I guarantee you by then, if they haven't figured out how to get the fuel mileage down, there may be some extremely big moves thrown their way. Dalton thinks he's got it set up here. He's going to line him down off of turn number 4, looking for the green flag restart zone. He's got it. We're back underway. Alan Wild at 22 right now, firing it back underneath. Scott Simley trying to hold him down. Everybody else looking in between. Richard Crane there getting a little bit tripped up in the back. Keith Prince there right up in the mix-up. Justin Reynolds swinging his way out and down. Every driver for themselves here. All encompassing, all in the run, and all in the modes. They're looking for whatever they can just to hold on. Sturgill running it in deep, and he's just trying to find any kind of angle, any kind of opening he can get here. Sammy Orell, though, I'm already keeping my eye on him. That massage envy. 43 last stage. Shocked a lot of drivers, including broadcasters, if you will, literally taking it from a slow up position to almost like a late charge and a half. Uh-oh! It's making a late charge and a half. Gabe Prince lost it out of turn number 2. Refires, he'll keep it green. Spun the rear tires out there, unfortunately off turn number 2. Couldn't quite keep his grip or a car underneath him, and that is the one thing you do not want to have happen. Marching it back into the exits here. Christoph Hall, after all the troubles he went through, currently just hoping for a bit of a break or a bit of a breather here. Russell Ottaway already trying to do what he was doing earlier and shock a few drivers. Sweetwater 89 machine currently right behind the 24 Sturgill and DeRue. Remember, those guys definitely have their speed and their strengths and weaknesses, but Sturgill seems to be just staying out of other drivers' way here, unfortunately, and got clipped up a little bit too quickly with the number 50 and Joe Hudson. Hudson is down and out of this race, basically. He lost so much time and so much ground there due to the damage sustained of the wreck. I would say no means of his own fault there. Really just kind of hindered on one thing, which was just the bad luck and the bad nature that iRacing and racing itself can give you. Justin Reynolds making a big little move off the RBS machine, has thrown his weight around, and now he's trying to make a little bit of a fight back. Dakota Kramer, though, man, talk about earlier on getting himself shot in the foot there off of turn number 4. Got himself out of trouble. Did not get a caution out. And then had to figure out from there how to even hang with him. Finally, stage number 3, the final stage comes up, and now it seems as though he's worked and learned from the mistakes. But I can say the same thing, too, about this guy right here, Aaron Action Jackson. Jackson earlier in there, number 4 as well, also kind of outran himself, ended up spinning himself out on the track, and ended up having to kind of refire and re-sanctify everything he had going on. Field starting to encase themselves around, trying to get all the power they can get out of the cars here and hope for the best. No driver, though, is safe from the chaotic world that is racing. And again, with that caution flag, when it wants to pop out, it likes to pop out and completely change up this landscape. That is the fear everybody right now is waiting on and trying to avoid. But again, just separating the field out as much as they have right now, that does not necessarily mean they are safe. There is still a lot of room and still plenty of options to deal with the pressure off of. Butch here, man, talk about literally going from hero to hero in a matter of just a few short laps. The 93 firing on all cylinders now, but having to go head-to-head against a guy like Cameron DeRue is not exactly something I wish on anybody. DeRue has been known to put the boots up and put the fight on the ground. Tough competitor in his own right, and he's showing it right now why that is. Nobody's safe from each other, nor the rest of the field. Dakota Kramer now feels the pressure from DeRue. DeRue tired of waiting. Here comes the Castrol number 6. And he's hunting down Samuel Harrell as well. Harrell, man, he made a good little charge there earlier, but now kind of getting thrown back into the wolves here, and it looks like DeRue playing the same strategy he did on him just a little while ago there. 12 spots up though for Reynolds and Harrell, both guys duking him out. And DeRue looks like he'll have his hands full a little bit more because right now the caution flying back out. Trouble's down there. Of all things on Russell Ottaway, the 89. And Russell is all but done for the night now. The 89 nowhere but trouble yet again. After a heartbreaker last week, getting himself the only caution of the day. He gets a piece of it here too. My word, took a violent hit there. Oh my goodness. Man, you want to talk about wild moments in between there? There is no way he could have got out of that one. Well, he was trying to avoid Aaron Axon Jackson, who was swerving around there. It didn't quite work out in his favor. Dalton go in. Christoph Hall, Dakota Kramer, and Samuel Harrell will now be the top 3 in the leaders booth. Dalton's out. Colton's out. Simley beats... Yep, he'll beat Ritter out of there. So Harrell and Kramer, as well as Hall, they went in on lap number 125, 97, and 125 respectively. Kramer playing a very, very interesting strategy, to say the least here. I don't know if I necessarily agree with it, though. Could just be trying to save fuel, or it could be playing a different kind of run here. But with everybody else now getting the fuel they needed and the tires on them, it's hard to really say, and that could get a little bit bad here. Well, we're double filed in right now, and now pressure is on. You may be wondering at home, why do I say the pressure is on? One big reason. You've got to figure out how to get into and from the spots you were at, and then deal with the pressure that leans in with it. Here we go now. Let's find out what happens here. Race fans coming down off the front straightaway here, lining them down. No, we're staying under yellow. Yellow is staying out. Well, from pit road anyway right now, Dalton pretty much with the advantage no matter what you look at it as. Hall, Kramer, and Harrell kind of in a bad spot here. Barring any disasters out of the gate here, I really don't think anybody else besides Coleman and Simley or Ritter have a chance to keep Dalton away from taking the race lead and then running off with it. Harrell and Kramer, I know they'll block the heck out of anything and anything that moves if they had to, but it's still very tough to make that kind of opening and make that kind of jump. Green flag back on out. And they are 4 deep in turn number 1. That in turn number 2, 3 deep off. Dalton with the move of the night. It may not have been the smartest move, but it was the ballsiest move. And Dalton jumping it right in there. He had to do it or he was going to be left stuck in that back. Harrell right in front of him. Coleman trying to get a run on both of them. Setting up the corner. Here comes the pass. And Dalton driving it in deep. Looking for it to stick. Harrell trying to hold on. It's not to be. Dalton leaves nothing behind. We have a new leader. I mean, what did I literally just say a second ago? Fresh tires, fuel, and a little bit of confidence to get back at Harrell for earlier. Yeah, I'm not surprised here. Steve Ritter, the Sir Bull, number 87, though, man. Talk about having to move back into the chains. He's not giving up either. Last ditch efforts here from all drivers involved. Nobody giving up too much here. Second lap times right now between all these drivers. And by the way, Dalton, last lap, he just laid down the fastest time, 30.71. Morrell starting to slowly but surely fade in and out of existence here. He's probably hoping for a bit of a break. Maybe looking at getting some tires, getting some fuel, whatever the heck can help him out. Got left with nothing on the plate, got thrown into the wolves and into the pack, and really there's nothing you can do about it there. .25 laps remaining here on PT Racing TV, folks. And again, now the gap slowly but surely starting to increase more as it goes. This is exactly what the 19 wants to see. Doesn't want anything to get him in any issues or any trouble. He just needs to stay focused and hope that these flags keep working in his favor. Stage number 2, it didn't work then. But this is the final stage. Again, it could go either way. We've seen it happen before. Bud Scherer making his way around Samuel Harrell, and Harrell again looking more and more like he's going to fall back into obscurity of the top 10 bracket due to that pit stop. Speaking of falling from obscurity back into reality, look at this. Charles Van Schaik, he may have gone back to back the last 2 weeks, but man, that 23 does not give anything up in terms of getting back up there to the front. He's fighting, and he is charging. Credit where credit's due there. You can't let off on anything, and you can't give up to anybody here. You gotta keep them honest, and you gotta keep the momentum running hard if you want any chance to survive in this landscape. Richard Crane, by the way, also, I think he may have heard my comments earlier, may have took him a little bit more personally, because he's moved it up literally into the 13th spot, 14 up there. He's right now your hard charger. The only one they give him match him is 13 spots up so far from Justin Reynolds. .22 will turn into 21 laps left to go here, race fans, and so far it's been the Dalton show, or it's been literally for just a brief moment Samuel Harrell shutting down the Dalton show just so that way he can have a little turn in the sun. Definitely now, looking like maybe he's starting to get a little bit more on the nose and on the verge. He's got literally a top 5 in his surroundings and in his placement here at the moment. But we all know as drivers, we don't want just one, we want it all. And he does have a little bit of a run there on Steve Ritter. He might have a chance here. We're trying to hold on. 18 laps remain here at New Loudon. Let's take a look at the lap times between Ritter and Simley here, and you can see right here, this is what the number 7 wants to see as much as anything. Green ahead. The orange dictates the speed Ritter had gained. The green represents the speed gained. Oh, wait a minute. Oh, no. Remember what I was saying earlier? It's going to happen again. And Dalton is not going to be a happy camper on that one. This is going to shorten these fields back up, and it's going to completely throw everyone for a curveball. Another caution out as we visit the Pizza Race TV Instant Replay to find out what the heck happened here. Joe Hudson, probably infuriated from earlier on there, just overdrove it point blank. Sean Burke, nowhere to go. Hudson again, and a guy of that talent and that magnitude. Again, I don't blame him for what he did there. Probably trying to make any kind of move or pass on Hales. But knew the frustration was setting in. One more look at it. You can see right here, Hales backs off. He's got a huge run, gets back into the gas in a really bad spot. See Sean Burke there just kind of getting tampered in a little bit. Nobody up front wanted to see that caution pop out. I'm going to guarantee that right now, because now what that's going to do is force every single driver to have to literally work for it that much harder. Even if it's just 10 laps, it doesn't mean nothing. 10 is like 5 laps. You just literally go for broke and hope for the best, because you never know when that caution's going to fly out again. You just have to go for whatever it can go and work from there. Here we go, race fans. This could get a little nuts. Bringing them back to the green. Coleman knows he's going to have to make a run for it. And he's already trying to keep Dalton in honest here. Dalton driving it hard off turn number 2. It's Coleman who makes the mistake though. Advances Dalton. Simley and Ritter right now going at it here a little bit. Ritter getting passed up by Simley. Ritter trying to get back underneath Cameron DeRue and Justin Reynolds there. Oh, plowing it through the speeds. Pressure looming right now. Every driver for themselves just trying to get that last bit out, that last chance. Any opening, any shot in the dark, they'll take for what they can get out of it. Which graphic Reynolds attacking Reynolds right now. He's got to be careful about that, especially with DeRue as close as he is here. Pressure is still on Dalton though. Not feeling any of it. Or if he is, he's not looking in that mirror view mirror. Top 5 on your screen here for the final 10 laps. Swapping him back here. Look at Charles Van Schaik trying to go for the top 10 here. Christoph Hall, Cody Sturgill laying in his way. Samuel Harrell and Alan Wild. All playing to their strengths here. Harrell, look at him jumping it right underneath Shearer here, looking for an opening. He's going to get it. Oh, but did he get past in time? Did he get the pass in time? Justin Reynolds wrecking it out there. There is trouble down in turn number 1 and 2 as well. Looks like another driver involved in that one. But yet again, another restart is going to send these guys into a bit of a batch and a bit of a run here. Reynolds was the one that got the caution out. I can't really show you guys what exactly happened, because he was blinking out of control there. This is what we were worried about, was this issue right here. We're trying to give you guys coverage of it. There it is, right there. Once he blinked back up, he literally was just taken out. Looking up ahead here, see if we can see who else was spinning on that initial little tap there. Let's take a look at Harrell. I think it might have been Aaron Jackson for the initial spin. Let's take a look here. This is where Harrell gets loose. I saw somebody down there. Oh, that was just Harrell. No, it was just Harrell down there. Oh, my bad. It looked like it was somebody else there. It wasn't just Harrell, but it was just Harrell that was down the grassy plains there, so. What a wild, wild ending this can get, folks. I said earlier, you can't, literally got 10 laps to go. Forget about literally trying to play nice. You need to make your runs and make them quick. That's exactly what I said, and I'm going to say it again, because you need to be very careful now. You either get going or you're getting left behind. Now, with that said, we saw what Coleman did there. He had a good run, but he didn't have enough of a push. Does he have enough now? This is going to get just a little bit more dicey. That much I'm almost going to guarantee you here, folks. Yeah, the crazy thing is this race could have been over about a few minutes ago had these cautions not popped out. And it'd probably have been Tyler Dalton your race winner, but it seems as though the racing gods have deciphered we need to have a little bit more chaos in this one. Not saying they talked to Heath Ledger and created an agent of chaos. Not saying anything there, but you never can be too sure anymore. Will this be their final time, race fans? Going for broke, going for it all? Or will the demons strike again? Chad Coleman right now getting up ahead of Dalton, probably trying to play mind games with him, trying to get him squared up, trying to tip-top him up a little more. Looking for anything he can. Narrowing him down off of the final corner. Top 5 on your screen. Down for the final flag today. Coleman patiently waiting for Dalton to jump it. He gets the run. They're off. Dalton needed that start. Everybody else wide in the gaps and in the turns. Setting him down the straightaways here. Dalton with the advantage. Coleman desperately trying to get back in there and trying to catch him. Looking for another run, another opening. No gain there. And Samuel Harrell, look out. Here he comes again. Is he going to try it again on him? Remember, it worked in the second stage. And he's moving the chains. And another caution Bruce. They're going 4 wide back there. That could be troublesome. Richard Crane trying to get out of the wall there. Ron Holyfield, problems down there in the 11. Got stepped down to the grassy plains down below. The entire field trying to get squared up. That's what they didn't want to see. Cody Sturgill, massive wreck off of turn 3. Joe Hudson, Cody Sturgill colliding again. Worlds collided down there, and both drivers, unfortunately, now have risen us to 2 green-white checkered attempts. Another look at it here. Keith Prince. Oh, man. I'm not sure if Prince just completely missed his braking zone there. Oh, my gosh. Oh. Or if, unfortunately, just a bad scenario. But either way, that was a nasty hit. Keith Prince, look at that. Great corner out there on Alan Wild. But this is right where he did not need to be. Too aggressive there, and you can see the 3 trying to back off, get out of it, and then this. Oh, gosh almighty. Sturgill's car at that point was all totaled up. That's why you heard him firing the engine up, but nothing was going. What happens next? Will we be able to complete this one? Or are we going to have to settle for the 2 green-white checkers? That is a question these drivers need to answer for themselves. Their chances are up right now, race fans. One green-white checker attempt coming up. Coleman, Dalton, DeRue, Simley, Ritter, and Harrell looking for the win. And Samuel right now is itching and clawing just to get one more chance, one more opportunity. The same thing he did back in stage number 2. Will he have enough, though, coming to the line? We'll bring him up down off of turn number 4 this time on by. Race fans, this is their first of 2 green-white checker attempts. Can they get it in? Huge run again. Look out! Harrell's to the inside. Where is the 43 going? Oh my gosh, he went right into the entire field. A massive wreck ensues. Oh no, are you kidding me? Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. Well, Samuel Harrell tried to make the move of the night, and instead it got turned into the wreck of the night. And we're about to take a look at the replay and find out what just happened here. I asked where he was going. I should have made it a little bit less obvious. I kind of knew where he was going. Bud Sure tried to hit the corner right there too. And it looked like he was trying to save it. He braked in too late. Christoph Hall, Carl Van Schaik, all taken for a ride. Ron Holyfield really just kind of getting the perks of it. But my goodness. Massive, massive wreck. There you see the contact. And here's the whack there. What a tough break there. Samuel, not a happy camper. And honest to God, I don't blame him. I would not blame him. I'd be in the same boat right now. These guys are going to have to look back on this race yet again and decipher for themselves, was it worth it to try to make these moves or make these positions as much as they did. If I had to guess, there's probably going to be a little bit of a talking to here in the trailers tonight with some guys. So, one more chance, and that's all they get. Let's find out what happens here now. Next, yellow ends it. White flag will finish it. checkers ends the race. One last chance. This is on you drivers. Here we go. One more chance. Dalton with yet another strong start. Coleman backing it down, trying to get Dalton to make one little mistake so he can have a chance here. But in doing so, he's opened the door up for everybody else. Looking for the white flag. Can they get this race finished? Coleman closing off. Looking for an opening, looking for a chance. White flag this time on by. A little bit of a problem down there for Ritter. They stay green. Chances running lower and lower here. Coleman right now not getting much speed back. Dalton trying to keep him honest. Down the backstretch. He won at Daytona. He has been winless for about 2 weeks now. But off of corner number 4, that changes. Tyler Dalton wins it at New Hampshire. Well, we were wondering would he be able to get it done, if he was going to be able to get it figured out. He did indeed. Tyler Dalton wins it here at New Hampshire Motor Speedway. A big victory coming from Daytona now to this one. Charles Van Slyke's got 2. Tyler Dalton, now he's got 2. We don't have much time left here, folks, but let's take a look at our race results here, presented by Jack's Racing Collectibles. Tyler Dalton wins it. Chad Coleman coming away second. Cameron DeRue going to bring it over third. Scott Simley going forward. Bud Shearer fifth. Christoph Hall 6th. 7 to Bill Hales. 8th to Steve Ritter. Alan Wild 9th. Keith Prince top 10. Rest of your finishers on your screen. Well, Tyler's going to at least keep this thing in one piece throughout the entire night, other than that little scruffle he got into earlier with a few other drivers. Time to listen in, though, now to our top finishers today. This will be an interesting one, I can say that much right now. Currently waiting to see if Cameron DeRue is going to join us here. I don't know if he will necessarily yet, so it looks like we're just going to go ahead and start it up with the second place finisher today, and then maybe our first, and then hopefully we'll get Cameron in here. Ladies and gentlemen, he's coming in now to the booth real quick here, coming out of the car. It is Chad Coleman, the 35, qualified second, finished the second today. Coleman, congratulations on that today as well, but although you had a pure shot of consistency, man, New Hampshire did not make it easy for you to get around this place in terms of having to maneuver through the field today a few times.
Yeah, the first run, the track was pretty hot. I was good on that run. Just the colder the track got, the tighter it got, and then I got worse. But I think I hurt the car on about halfway through the race. I locked up the rears getting into turn 1, and slapped the right rear on the wall pretty good. Wasn't much damage time, but after that I could tell the car was looser. I think I hurt it there, but other than that, pretty good race until right there the last 10 laps. We had a rash of cautions break out, but congrats to Tyler, and thanks to everybody with GOAT for putting on the race.
Had that right rear not locked up on you, got into that wall, do you think it maybe would have been a little bit closer for you to catch up there with Dalton, or do you think the car was pretty much as best it was going to get today?
Before I did that, I felt all right. Like I let him get out to a lead right there just because he was running a lot harder than I was for about 10 laps. I based that off the first run, And then I noticed that the track was about 10 degrees cooler, you know, by the time we got to about lap 70 or so. So it just the track cooling off, I think, hurt me more than anything. I don't know if the damage hurt it much or not, but it made it feel a little looser. But I mean, overall, what got me right there is I got pushed loose the last half of the race.
For sure there, Coleman. Anybody else want to thank for this one today?
Uh, Thanks to Scott and Steve for hanging out down there in the channel with me, and we had somebody to talk to. And thanks to them, thanks to you broadcasting, thanks to Charles and all the admins here at GOAT for giving us something to do
For
till
sure.
the racing season starts back.
For sure there. All right, well, Chad, nevertheless, great to have you back on board. Congratulations popping this one up for another second place today.
Yeah, thanks, man.
Jack Coleman going to go away today second. The man that came away third, he finally joins us now, ladies and gentlemen. Cameron DeRue joins us in the broadcast booth. Cameron, talk about having to fire everything you got and only to come away with the podium. But, I mean, a third place finish against the headers you had to take on, I'd say it's worth the price here at New Hampshire.
Yeah, it was good. It was a fun little battle there between us. I would say the top four of us. What was it? The 35, the 19, and then the 87, I think. He's pretty good too. So it was fun. It was a good race.
Good race indeed. Now, I know you had a lot of good fights out there as well. I had a few fenders pushed in together as well. When the car got kind of tagged along there, how bad would that be on the car to actually kind of hold line and keep up with everything you were going for there?
Uh, it was it would just push. Yeah, it just pushed through the center. So I really couldn't do that. It was good off. It wasn't too snappy loose or anything, but just couldn't roll the center really the way I wanted to. And then as the run goes, it just gets worse. But all in all, I don't know what I could have done different.
I don't think there was anything really could have done different this
Mm-mm.
one either, Deru. So, man, I got to ask you, as always, do you want to thank you for this one?
Well, thank the GOAT and 7500 guys. I want to thank you for broadcasting it and all the fans that tune in and watch it, the drivers that come be a part of it. Obviously, we wouldn't be able to do it without other people to race against, you know. So yeah, everything, everybody. I appreciate everybody.
For sure there, cameraman. Great to hear from you, and great to see you back in the podiums here today, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Congratulations to Cameron DeRue there. He'll pop away today here for third, but the man that's going to take away another win, he'll now tie Charles Van Schaik 2 for 2. Tyler Dalton now has the win at New Hampshire Motor Speedway. And Tyler, a couple times there, we were thinking and we are trying to figure out, were you going to be able to hang on with those restart zones and those restarts? You were able to do it. You got to jump on Coleman, I think, free out of the 4 times. Only one other time he came close to kind of catching you. What was going through your mind there when that had happened?
What's going through my mind is, can we please just go green? This caution for killing me. I was thinking there's probably about 4 or 5 times I've had this race won, and then the cautions come out. I felt like we had the fastest car. I knew when we put down that qualifying lap, almost 2 tenths faster than everybody else. I knew we had a pretty good shot. I was hoping to maybe pull off the perfect race there and win both the stages, but Sammy got lucky with a couple cautions and got up there. But at the end there, it was just, I wasn't worried about Sammy and them as much as I was worried about Chad. I race with Chad a lot, and I know Chad's really good at timing restarts and really good at being able to stay with you. So I was having to pick and choose different spots in that restart zone to try to mess with him. And with that many cautions there at the end, I was sort of running out of space, different spots I could choose from.
Well, at least you found one that worked well enough for you to hang on for those final restarts here. But to get win number 2 in the season here, Dalton, I mean, what does that mean to kind of be able to know you're one of only 2 drivers that have got 2 wins in the season and the only 2 so far out of its entire season?
Yeah, it definitely feels good. This is a track don't get to race a whole lot. A lot of times it's missing from the schedule. A lot of people don't like it. I actually really enjoy it. I really enjoy the flat track, so I was looking forward to tonight, and I thought it was a pretty fun race. Shame about the cautions there at the end, but overall, pretty fun race. I was just praying that one of those weird tire strategies weren't going to come and bite me in the butt there at the end, but luckily, things worked out, and we were able to hold on for the win.
Hold on for the win, and I got to ask you, who do you want to thank here for this win?
Just want to thank all the GOAT guys for putting on this series. They did a really good job. thank all of my 7500 Mafia teammates. Fortunately, those they had some issues. I know Ron and Joe had were involved in, I think, the same wreck, but Brian Workman got him a P11. Just want to thank Chad, nice clean racing from him. I want to thank NC 811 Call Before You Dig, great sponsor for some of the series that we run in. And like I said, just want to thank y'all for broadcasting. I had a great time tonight. Hopefully we can go out there and repeat this next week.
Certainly indeed. Well, Dalton, nevertheless, congratulations winning here in New Hampshire. We'll see you next time on out, sir.
Thank you.
Dalton, ladies and gentlemen. He is going to ring it in for the final race, and that will conclude your Global Strategy Team Racing Next Gen Cup Series tonight. Thanks so much for all that tuned in. We'll see you guys next time when the green flag flies on PT Race TV.